Piling paper, got them talking nice to me. Down the bottle, it be going right through me. Brown baby, down to take a flight to me. They think that I'm stunting, but it's slight to me. Piling paper, got them talking nice.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yo, what's up, everyone? Welcome to Club Collab. My name is Max Jimenez, and I got my co-host, Mr. Real Ryan Overcash. Where you at, bro? What's up, Ryan?
Dude, you know where I'm at, bro. Just point every direction. You shall find me.
Let's go, baby. Super stoked. Welcome, everyone, to Club Collab. Normally, we do this show at 7 p.m. at night. Ryan is crazy. I don't know why he selected it so late. So this is a new hour for us. This is a new time. We're super excited about this time, actually, because I believe this is going to bring more value to you guys. But, man, we have an amazing show today, right? Ryan, you want to tell a little bit about any announcements, actually, anything we got going on?
Yes, actually, one big one. If y'all haven't checked out the thumbnail for this show, please do. We can have our own show on the thumbnail. Let's talk about the thumbnail. But for all of you that are listening, please go check out the thumbnail. I think you'll get a kick out of it. If you don't catch on, let me know. I'll tell you. But yeah, man, that was my big announcement. So hopefully,
let's go. All right. I see some of you already on here. Appreciate every single one of you. Manuel, what's up? Thank you for supporting, brother, all the time. Look who's on the show, bro. Franjos. Oh,
dude.
It's your boy, Joseph Francos. What's up, brother? We love you, man. We appreciate you for being on. Vicente, I appreciate the fire emojis. Thank you, brother, for being on. He said, good to see you guys as well. Thank you. Joseph said, Ryan got a fresh cut as always. That guy's always clean. I think he gets a fade every 4 days, brother.
Joseph,
I'm telling you
thank
right
you
now.
for being nice, about it. And then you see how Max says, get a fade. You guys didn't get that little shot he took at me right there, right? But I know
I think he gets a fade every 4 days. Every 4 days. So,
all right. Daddy likes my hair. She knows what I'm about.
Alien, what's going on, brother? I appreciate you for being on. He said, I told you I'll show up and show some love. I appreciate you, man.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you.
Represent
Let's
that flag,
go.
Joseph.
Drop some fire emojis. Let us know what market you're tuning in from, where you're watching from. We have a really exciting show tonight. Obviously, you guys have seen the promotion. You've seen the stories. We're going to be talking about 5 key strategies to help you cold call more effectively. I think cold calling is still a great strategy, Ryan. What do you think about cold calling, Ryan?
Well, dude, it was. And then I saw your message today and it, gave me a little, threw me off a little bit, Max. I'm like, hey, what's going on? So I'm sure you got something up your sleeve you want to share with us.
Yeah, I know I said, hey, stop cold calling now. And the reason I said that is because a lot of people cold call incorrectly. And I actually went on Instagram. Travis, what's up, brother? Thank you for joining us tonight. I went on Instagram and I did a live today and basically talked about how some of the virtual assistants are getting really good at cold calling, bro. Like you saw that, I've seen some operations. And so, I mean, do you agree with that, Ryan? Like some of the virtual assistants?
Yes, I absolutely agree. I have my own answer in my head, but I want to ask you for the audience, why? Tell me why you think that is, Max. What's the biggest thing that comes when you think of
So I always default to training, but also repetition, taking action, right? Because you can only train so much. And so you need to go out there and take action. And then you fix the mistakes that you make while you're taking action. It's something that's really crucial. I'm a big believer that you cannot improve you cannot improve upon what you don't take action on, right? So you can try to perfect everything. But definitely, unless you had a different answer, but I believe that's what it is.
No, I think it's very similar to you. And what I was going for here, because again, I already know the answer.
Yeah.
And it was what you just said, but I want to just shed a different light on there. VAs that I've worked with always, and again, I learned this from you, they will do exactly what you say.
Exactly.
Like almost to a fault, right?
Yep.
Like that's why you have to be very good at communicating with them, very, very open, and make sure you explain in the details. But besides that point, my point being, Max says, study, work on your craft, Do it when no one's looking, when no one's paying attention, not just when you're on the phone with me. And what do? They listen. They put in the work, just like what you said. They do repetition. They don't overthink it. They don't think they know more than what they know. They put the work in because they know it works. Excuse me, right? Know it works to come back. And that's what I see when you're talking about, hey, these VAs are starting to be able to close deals and things like that.
Bro, not only that, that's 100% spot on and accurate. Not only that, but you got guys that are actually traveling to these other countries, and I've seen an operation that's run like the Wolf of Wall Street style. Like that training is in house now. Like it's crazy. But I wanted to bring that up because I want to distinguish that, right? Because I believe that there's a lot of people that are cold calling right now. Maybe and this show today is not for you, for those of you. And I don't want to say it's not for you, but we're not talking about those of you that have cold callers. Today, we're talking to those of you that are actually cold calling and you're doing it yourself, right? I'm going to talk about 5 key strategies that are going to help you. Because one of the biggest thing, and Ryan, you've heard me say this quite a bit, right? Which is, hey, how do I stand out and not blend in? You know, that's always been my motto, right? I've always driven that motto. I've always stood behind that. I shared on the live today is we were in our sales training today with our team, right? And one of the calls, and you know, obviously, I want to start off with that because I think, and I wasn't planning on to, but it goes with what we're going to talk about today. One of the calls with one of our team members, and he's learning, right? He's really good. Like the guy's going to be a killer. It's all about implementing the strategies and knowing where to ask the right questions. But what I saw is the seller boxing him like basically like if he was just another wholesaler, correct? Like he basically was answering the questions. He was trying to push him into a corner. Like, dude, you're just like everybody else that talked to me. How many of you guys out there drop some thumbs up if that's the way you feel when you cold call? If you're cold calling and you call the seller and you feel like the seller's trying to put you in a box, or you feel like the seller's not actually engaging with you, because what I can tell you is, and I'm gonna let Ryan talk a little bit about this, is we on that call was a perfect example of, hey, the seller's trying to box you in like with every other person that's called, right, Ryan?
Yeah, 1,000%, right? And again, going back to that coaching call today, and again, not saying this is what you say to them. This is the idea. The idea is, hey, hold on, Mr. Seller. I'm not like the rest of them. I can't just give you a number out of thin air in 30 seconds. And not only that, you're not going to be able to count on whatever number I just give you, right? There is a reason why I'm going to ask you some questions so I can get a better understanding of what you have, so we can make an offer that you can count on, you can depend on. It's going to show up at closing.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about, guys, you got to stay, because number 5 is going to be the killer. This is where you guys might have the first 4 maybe already gotten down. But number 5 is probably the one that's hurting you the most. Number 5 is probably the one that's hurting you the most. So you need to make sure that you stay so you can hear number 5. So Joseph said it's like shooting a gun. You have to go to the range and adjust as needed to get your sights dialed in and center mass. Yeah, and then you challenge yourself, right? You're gonna miss. You go further, you go faster, whatever it is. Ryan, he said facts, Ryan, to the VAs. They're like worker bees. Absolutely. Like they just follow directions. Alan said studs. Alan Huerta, what's up, brother?
What's up, Alan?
Ruben, what's cracking? Herman, what's up, brother? Appreciate you for being on here. Let's see, 17 people watching. Let's go. If y'all know someone who can value this, don't be whack. Share this show. Yeah, we have a total of 25 people between Facebook and YouTube. But let's blow this thing up and drop some fire emojis so far if you can relate to what we just talked about right now. Drop some thumbs up. Let me know if you're in that select section where you're cold calling and you're fit, and sometimes the prospect is not giving you anything. They're not engaging with you. I'm going to cover, and we're going to help you. Like I said, we're going to cover those 5 things, and you want to stay to the end so you can definitely hear number 5. So here's what I want to tell you is, this is a live show. Yes, we're going to present to you some things, but we also want you to ask questions. You know, again, there is no stupid questions. Remember that. There's only people that never ask the question and they stay like that. So there is no stupid questions. You got to make sure that you ask your questions. and like it, like the show as well too. So Alan says, "What up, fellas? Thank you for having this." Ryan says, "Share says someone don't be selfish." Absolutely, Manuel. Appreciate the fire emojis. I know you're cold calling. You can relate to a lot of this. Jesse Kerr, what up, brother? Appreciate you for the thumbs up.
Hey, what up, Jesse?
You can relate that. Travis, thank you for being transparent, brother. We're gonna cover some of the things to help you, so that way you don't feel like the seller is trying to clump you in with everyone else. So what is the first thing I want to talk about? Okay, pay attention, guys. So the first thing I want to cover is what I usually call setting the agenda, priming yourself. What else, Ryan, can we call it?
Yeah, I like how you say priming, but also it's game plan, right? I mean, simple words, game plan, right? Just making sure you're ready for every outcome possible. We all know what those are. We hear the same, 5 to 7 rebuttals from every seller. How can you not be prepared?
I don't want to go there yet, though. I do love where you're going with that, because you definitely have to game plan for that.
Sometimes you got to reel me back in, Max. Reel me back in. Reel me back in.
Yeah. So, oh, there we go. Manuel says, due to the time change, I'm not watching from Walmart this time.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Manuel.
So number one is priming yourself. What do I mean by that? A lot of you guys that are out there, and I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to share my screen here in a little bit. So stay tuned with me. A lot of you guys out there and gals that are cold calling, what happens is that you jump on the phones, and you just start to wing it. Like, you're never going to face any objections. Like, you're never going to run into any situations that you don't need to overcome. You have no plan, right? You have no plan behind. If I was to ask every single one of you on this live right now, 20 plus people on this live, how often do you want to win? Ryan, how many people do you think they would say, not just sometimes? How many people do you think you would say just sometimes?
0.
How many people would say, well, I like to win between Monday and Friday, and that's it?
0.
Right. So I agree with you. So if we did a poll and we asked every single one of you, how often do you want to win? 100% of you would say every single time. Am I correct on that?
Yeah. There's no one going to argue that.
Yeah. No one's going to argue that, right? Everyone would say I want to win every single time. So my question to you, for those of you that are thinking that, and you're saying, I want to win every single time, why don't you game plan like you do? Game plan like you want to win every single time. And look,
Max, I got to go to my girlfriend's house. It's an hour drive away. I'm already closed 5 deals, this year, blah, blah, blah. Right.
Yeah. All the excuses in the world.
All the excuses.
So, and what's funny about that is people do this and they game plan and they do, they prime, and then they get a little success and then they stop doing it. And then they stop getting success. Listen, I've been there, right? I've been in there where I've where I feel like I'm the guy and this and that, and I don't need to do any of this. And then I find myself like, wait a minute, how did you get here first, right? First of all, and Ryan, I think you can relate to that as well.
1000% on this. I've shared this before, but just try to make it a quick story. I did really good one year, killed it. And then I started kind of noticing it just wasn't happening as well for me. I went and looked at my Audible, because I always listen to Audible, always. There's a bar graph on how much time you listen to. Mm-hmm. My income aligned with the bar graph. Yep. As the bar graph started coming down on how much time I was listening and working on myself, so was my income. So again, you got to constantly work on yourself. It's not just about, hey, I killed it, I'm the man now. You got to constantly work on yourself.
All right. So Max, what do I do? What are you talking about game plan? How do I prime myself? So the number one thing that I always talk about, and the number one thing that we have new team members come onto our team, is put it on your calendar. If you're going to prospect Monday through Friday or even on Saturdays, listen, throw it up there. I'm gonna block out a time from 9 to 12, from 2 to 6. Put that thing on your calendar, because if it's important for you, it should be on your calendar. And what's going to happen every single day, you're setting you're training your mind that at that time between 9 and 2 or 4 and 6, that is your prospecting time. And before that time comes up, let's say it's 4 to 6, right around 3 o'clock, your mind starts to work. Hey, I need to prepare, because at 4 o'clock, I'm going to start prospecting. You got to put it on your calendar. You need to, because if you don't, and you think that you can just jump on the phones anytime, I'm going to tell you, it's not going to work. You're going to struggle. You can't just be jumping on the phone whenever you feel like it or winging it. I mean, how important is it for when we put our stuff on the calendar for our new team members, Ryan?
It's everything, Max. We have to see it. It's got to be on the calendar. We got to talk it out. We got to put it on there. We got to see it, and then we got to commit to what's on the calendar.
Yeah. And the pro tip there is that it's going to help you to stay on track and organize, right? If it's not on the calendar, it's not going to be important to you. Drop some thumbs up, some fire emojis on there. If you guys drop some thumbs up if you are not currently using a calendar right now. And listen, you might put it from 4 to 6 every single day, right? Like Friday to Saturday. It doesn't matter. Monday through Saturday, or you know what I mean? Or Monday through Friday. Something's going to come up. That's okay. So if I'm prospecting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, 4 to 6, on Thursday, an appointment comes up. Guess what? The next day, Friday, I already know that I am going to be prospecting from 4 to 6 regardless, or next week, Thursday, right? So it doesn't matter. It is going to be there. A lot of people that I've seen and I talk to on a daily basis don't even use the calendar at all. So I'm telling you, you see Ryan put there, we live and die by the calendar. And so we need to make sure that you put your let me stop right here. If it's important for you and you believe that you want to do this business and it's going to change your life, you got to start taking it serious. Everyone that I know, and Ryan, I want you to add to this. Everyone that I want you to know is everyone that we know that's a high level individual. What do they have, Ryan?
They have a calendar, right?
And what do they have? Yeah, and what do they have on the calendar?
They have their agenda. They have what they're doing, what their schedule is, where they need to be, what they're doing. I was going to say something else there, but anyways, when it comes to the calendar, another thing, Max, real quick, let's go back. You taught this to me when I very first met you, and this came from, I always forget the guy's name. The guy that you guys used to have those Hero's Journey. What was his name?
Oh yeah, Darren Hardy. Sunday planning. Look at your calendar. Sunday, 4:00 in the afternoon is the time I do it. I look at my calendar. Okay, what do I got going on for the week? What is needed for the week? I start plugging in what I'm to do, whether it's calling, whether it's prospecting, whether it's going to meetups, wherever that is, my calendar needs to be filled up. I do my Sunday planning, the plan for the week. Yep, exactly. And you know, and the thing is, like I said, will it change? I'm adjusting my calendar every 30 days. So again, put your prospecting on the calendar. I'm telling you right now, if you think that you're going to wake up Monday and say, okay, just call randomly. You're going to wake up Tuesday and just call randomly. Like, if you want to treat this seriously as a business and you believe that this is something that you want to do and change your life with, I'm telling you, if you don't do that one simple thing, you're not, there's no way you're going to be able to win. You're just randomly coasting and you're randomly, going back and forth. Like, that's not going to happen. So put your prospecting time on your calendar. Okay. That's the first thing you want to do. Go ahead, Ryan.
Real quick. I was going to say too, and to keep it, like some people, I prospect all day, every day. Don't discount the calendar. Don't water down when you start putting it on. Like if you have it on there Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, you're really not calling Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. And if you are, you're probably done it 1 week and that's
it. Ryan, just real quick, because I want to add something to that point to make your point even more strengthful, is the intentionality. Oh, I prospect all day, but how intentional are you with the prospecting, right?
Yeah, because it's on there all day, right? You're like, I'll get to it at 10 or 11, or I made some calls here or there. You're going to start discounting what you actually have on the property, what you have, on the calendar, not the property.
Yeah.
What you have on the calendar, you're not going to take it as serious. You got to be intentional. Max just said a key word there, intentional with what goes on the calendar. Then you got to be intentional with going after what you put on the calendar with all the energy that you had when you originally put it on the calendar, not how you're feeling in the moment that day. Standards over feelings, everybody. Shout out Ben Newman.
I love it. Joseph said, my calendar is consistently booked because I know myself, but the power of schedule. He goes, I can dive into that for a solid 10 minutes. I love it. Manuel said, calendar is my goal list. Working for myself, I need it. Trying to change my habits. 100%, bro. Like, I love what you said there, right? It's like you need to be you need to have it. It's got to be there in front of you. How do you know what to do if it's not written anywhere? So again, number one is prime yourself. Put your prospecting time on your calendar. and you're always adjusting it. I call my calendar, and Ryan laughs at this because it's alive, it's organic, breathing, and it's constantly evolving, right? Like it doesn't sit still. It doesn't sit stale. Excuse me, not still. It doesn't sit stale. Ryan does the same thing. What's the second thing that you actually? What's the second thing that you can actually do to prime yourself? What is the outcome that you want from that prospecting that you're blocking out? A lot of people, even though you block out your prospecting, what are the outcomes that you want, right? What do I mean by that? I mean, how many people do you want to talk to? How many high-level conversations you want to have? How many hot leads do you want to generate? And what outcomes you want? Do you want to create, a future appointment? You gotta have you gotta have an outcome, or you want to have something that you have written down what you want out of that prospecting. Because yes, you can put it on the calendar. However, though, is that if you're just gonna call, and here's the thing, guys, like when we set the KPIs, the key performing indicators, which are the goals, the metrics, we always go high level. We talk about context, we talk about conversations, we talk about setting appointments, sales appointments, right? And then also contracts, right? So that's what you need to see. You need to identify in that prospecting. So for these 2 hours from 4 to 6 that I put on my calendar, I need to contact 40 prospects. Out of that 40 prospects, I want to convert, I would say 10%, right? We'll say 4 to a hot lead. And out of those 40 prospects, I want to have at least 3 high level conversations, and then do a sales appointment, a high level sales appointment where we need to do a follow up in. So you got to be. That's how you can prime yourself. Is number 1, put it on your calendar. Number 2, what are the outcomes that you want out of that call blocking, Ryan? And I don't know if you want to add anything to that as well.
No, just again, reinforce, guys, like this is serious. This is real. When I say every call session, you got to have a theme. Like Max is saying, what do you want to get out of it? Like I even say, okay, I even prepare my mind. I'm going to have some people hang up on me. I'm going to have some people cuss me out. It doesn't matter because I'm getting one seller closer to an actual deal. So I change my mindset every time I go, or adjust my mindset, I should say, every time I go to pick up that phone to prepare myself for what I'm about to go into. That is dead serious. If you're just picking up the phone call, picking up the phone calling, you have no intentionality. You don't have any goals for your outcome of what that call is. And when someone hits you in the jaw and you're going to get hit in the jaw 3 times in a row, you're going to be like, this sucks. I don't want to do it. It doesn't work anyways. Yeah. You got to have a plan for that.
When it comes to 100%, brother, I totally agree, guys. Right before I move on to the second one, because I'm about to wrap up the first one, drop any questions that you have. Drop some fire emojis if you're getting value. Share this with someone. We're still early in the game, so they can come in and grab and then I'm going to get to Chris's comment here because I love this. I am a big believer that you need to go high level with your metrics. As much as I love dials, I think sometimes what happens when we put dials, especially in cold calling, I'm not talking about follow-ups. I'm not talking about, high level stuff. I'm talking about cold calling. A lot of times what happens, individuals that are not, what's the word I'm looking for? Disciplined, right? Individuals that are not disciplined, what they will do is they will set, I need to make 1,000 dials today. Awesome. That's a lot of dials. But then that's as far as they go, right? So the main focus while you're on that dialer, you're looking at the dials every 5 minutes. Oh man, I'm at 100 dials. Yeah, I'm at 200. I'm at 500. I'm at 600. And it's like you get to 1,000 and then you're like, dang, I didn't even get to talk to anybody. So the intentionality, why I don't, and Ryan, you obviously, we've talked about this quite a bit, right? Is I always like to go high level. I like to go how many people answered, how many people did I have conversation with, and then how many hot leads am I generating out of this. So prime yourselves. Make sure that you're setting this agenda before you're jumping on the phones. Number 1, put it on the calendar. Number 2, how do you prime yourself is what outcomes do you want from this cold call session? Ryan, is there anything else you want to add to that?
Oh, I love that. It's being intentional. And just like we were saying before, it's alive and breathing. So maybe day 1 is I got to get 1,000 phone calls. I've been in this trap before, right? I got to get to high phone calls because nobody else is doing it. So I focused all on my phone calls. At the end of the week, I was like, sweet, I beat the team of phone calls. All right, what do you have to show for it? Absolutely nothing. I don't even know what I did. Right. I just was still focused on phone calls. So, like Max said earlier, it's alive, it's breathing, it's changing. Day one, I want to get my phone calls in, to prove to my mind myself, oh, I can make 1,000 calls. That ain't no thing. Okay, cool. Now, what do you want to do? I want to have real conversations now. So you start, as Max said, priming what you want to do, what you want to get out of each session. But it's continually changing, and it is alive.
Yeah, going back to Joseph's comment earlier about going out to the range. It's the same thing, right? Like, what do you go out when you go out to the range? What do you put in front of you? What do you put in
Target.
front of you? You put a target. So if you're gonna have your time blocked, right, 4 to 6 prospecting, but there is no target in front of you that you can visually see and you visualize it, so that way when you get on the phones, you're more prepared. You're mentally prepared to hit that 4 conversations, because what you're gonna do is now it's like, this is my goal for these 2-3 hours. I want to hit that target of 4 or 5 conversations. And now that's what I'm going to focus on. So guess what? My strategy is going to be, my attitude is going to be a lot better. And my strategy when I go to do the sales call is going to be delivered on a more high level, because I know now whether to stay on the phone with someone or to actually move away from this person. Because what does this person fit this target of what I'm trying to hit? Am I trying to convince, or am I going to sift and move on so I can talk to the next prospect and hit that target, right? And that's a very powerful thing when you have that target in front of you, because you're going to visualize what you need to do, and you're going to place every single prospect in that bucket of that target that you need to hit. You want to read that comment, Ryan?
Yeah. So Chris saying, hey, my calendar has what I should be doing every day and at certain times. So I know at any point of the day, I can see what and where I need to be. And I love that for multiple reasons. For me, at least, just to give you my first example, is my calendar holds me accountable, right? Every once in a while, you kind of start to veer a little bit off, just depending on what the day brings at you. And in my calendar, I look up and I see, like, oh man, I should be prospecting right now, not in the kitchen, right? Not talking to someone about, hey, how their business is doing. I got to be intentional about my calendar. Hey, I got to call you back. Thank you. Bye. Boom. Yeah. On the calendar. Now I'm making my calls and I'm adhering to my calendar. At the end of the day, I always talk about this as well. At the end of the day, if I look back at the end of the day and I did what I was supposed to do, I feel good. Yep. Not the best, but I feel good. I can sleep at night. I'm like, all right, we're going to take this into the following day. If I didn't adhere to my calendar, I'm not kidding you, even just missing one thing at the end of the day, it just lingers in my mind. You didn't do what you're supposed to do today.
Absolutely. And it's the same thing with the targets. Like, if I have, a target of 8 high-level conversations, and I look at it when I'm done with that session, and I hit 6, like, that's pretty good, right? I'm like at 70%, right? Average. Eric's message, I love this. I'm loving it way more than this McDonald's.
Eric, you need to DM me. Side note here, and we're going to talk about your diet, because that's a problem. You ain't going to be locking up anything eating that.
Guys, I'm not. Yeah, you're not. Guys, I'm not seeing any fire emojis. I mean, should we end the show now? Are you guys ready for number 2? I'm not seeing any fire emojis.
No, we're not ending the show. Y'all better start participating.
I'm not seeing any questions here.
You guys must be all locking up deals. 10 for 10, cold calls, all you guys.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, Chris, Joseph, Manuel, we got over 25 people, 27 people, and I'm not. I think we should probably wrap it up. I think that was good enough for everybody here.
Oh, geez, yeah. You know what? No more
McDonald's. All right. Vicente said it's also pretty painful when it's the end of the day and you didn't do anything on your calendar. He goes, I feel that.
Vicente, 100,000,000%, dude. That's not a good day for me, which very rarely happens. But if that does happen, all I want to do is go to sleep, because I want a chance to go get back at it the next day and correct what I messed up the day before.
Awesome. Chris, appreciate the fire emojis. Alan, appreciate the fire emojis. Man, I love Alan's support. Jesse, thank you.
Alan's
Vicente,
amazing.
Appreciate you. Jerome, thank you, brother, for the fire emojis. All right. So we talked about the first thing that you need, the first key strategy that you need to do to get better at cold calling is prime your cold call sessions, however you want to do that. Okay. That's the first thing. Jermaine knows a lot about this. This dude's a cold calling machine. Look at his Instagram. Like, that guy's on the phone negotiating sub-2 seller finance. Like, man, and he does a really good job at it too. So what is the second thing that we need to, the second key strategy to help you to stand out, not blend in? Your introduction. This is very important. You only get a certain amount of seconds before you get hung up on or before you get yelled at. And I'm telling you right now, I don't care how much priming you do. I don't care how much targets that you want to hit. If you do not do this introduction correctly, if you don't do it a certain way, which, again, I'm going to show you how we do the introduction, but you got to tailor around who you are. I always say this. On a script, you got to internalize it and personalize it. Remember that. Internalize it first and then personalize it second. And so what I'm gonna talk about today is an introduction that's going to help you, because you got a lot of you that are cold calling right now are making a huge mistake when it comes to your introduction, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what that is. And so again, number 2 is got to make sure that when you're all ready, you got your time block, you got your targets in front of you. Guess what's the other thing that you have in front of you when you're cold calling? Ryan, what is that? Tell them what it is. What do they have in front of them?
Dude, they have the seller's information right in front of them, right? Their name, address, phone number.
So why do they say, I'm just trying to reach, is Mr. Ryan Overcash there? And they fumble and they mumble. And guess what? Right away, it sets the red flags to alert the seller that you are a salesperson. You got to stop doing that. You need to stop asking, is Mr. Jimenez there? Is Mr. Overcash there? I'm just looking for. I'm sorry that this call's out of the blue, but I'm trying to reach Ryan Overcash.
How are you doing today?
So you got to make sure you stop that. You have the information. So what do we do, Max? Assume the relationship. Right? And so how do you do that? So if I'm going to call Ryan, right? And I have his information in front of me. Ryan lives at 123 Main Street, right? I know that already. And it's Ryan that answers, because I'm going to give you an alternative intro when somebody else answers, right? If it's the opposite sex or whatever you want to call it. So if I'm calling for John and Jane answers, I'm going to give you an example of that. So let's say I got Ryan's information. Ryan lives at 123 Main Street. I'm not going to, you want to role play this with me really quick, Ryan?
Yeah, let's do it.
Here's what I'm going to do. So ring.
Hello.
Hello, Ryan?
Yeah. Who's this?
See, that's it. What did I do? I did a couple of things, right? I used a firm tonality, which means that I am very assertive and I'm very confident in who I'm calling. I used his name, and he's now confused, and he's like, who is this? Who knows my name? Right? And so the idea of a script, or the idea of when you're actually prospecting, is to eliminate any unnecessary objections. If you have a script and it's creating objections for you, tear that thing up, throw it in the fire, or burn it.
Call Max. We got one for you.
You need to make sure that your script is not creating any unnecessary objections for you, because you don't need to be creating unnecessary objections. For example, if you do the other way and you call and ask for, are they there? I'm just looking for, or may I speak with? What's going to happen is the defense mechanisms are going to go up from your prospect. So when I call and I assume the relationship because I have Ryan's phone number, I know his address, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do what I just did right now. And I can tell you, it's not 100% proof, guys. I'm not saying perfection here. I'm talking about increasing the averages of being able to have a conversation with someone, and increasing the averages of eliminating unnecessary objections that you're going to get. So what you need to do is stop asking for that person in your introduction, right? Hey, and let's go ahead and run that introduction, Ryan. You ready? Ring.
Yep. Hello,
Ryan.
Yeah, man. What's going on? Who's this?
Hey, Ryan, my name is Max. I don't know if you can help me, but I've been trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street.
Yeah, man, that's me, man. What's this all about?
Again, that's a simple introduction, right? Pattern interrupt, got his name. I want to make sure that he is the owner of the property for sure. So that's why I asked hey, I don't know if you can help me. I'm trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street. I'm going to say it in a curiosity tonality, because I want Ryan to start thinking. I want Ryan to start thinking that there's something going on, and I want him to continue the conversation with me. So think about it this way. The example that I always use, Ryan, is this. So I don't know about you, but you might be able to share this. Is like, have you ever walked somewhere or been somewhere when someone yells your name, like from far away? What does that do to you?
It shocks you. And I turn around because I know what you're talking about, because it happened recently. I'm like looking around. I'm like, oh yeah, somebody else must have the name Ryan in this store that I'm at, because I thought I'm the only Ryan in the world.
What did it do to you though? Right? What did it do to you?
I was like, who knows me? Like it's like it.
You were shopping.
Like I said,
you were in the store and you heard Ryan
right out of it. Yeah, just
and
took
you right out of that. Took you out right out of that.
I turn around, right? Or you know, where we have kids, right? We hear somebody say "daddy," same thing. I turn around, like, oh, yeah. Kid. My bad.
Yeah, it's that pattern interrupt in that the familiarity, right? That the relationship. Like, what the heck? Who knows my name? Like, do I owe that person money or where do I know him from? So we want to create the same thing. So you have to make sure in your introduction, again, if you have a script that's creating any unnecessary objections, you got to make sure that you're careful with that. I want to get to some of these answers or questions if there's any here. Guys, drop your questions right now in the comment section. We're working on the second one right now. I get on the dialer with my team and community in my virtual offices so they can see me do it, mess up, and change on the fly. Perfect, man. That works really awesome, great. Chris. Aaron said, where can we get a script or an example of how you introduce yourself and break the ice on the first call? Stay to the end, and I'm going to tell you that. There are a lot of people that leave in the middle are not going to hear the last thing. So stay to the end. I'm going to tell you that. Seller pot here. It's been a moment. How you doing? I'm not sure what that is.
I know. I'm trying to think what that is. Point of something.
Oh, is it Chris Pod? Seller Pod here. It's been a moment. How you doing?
Oh,
so that's your. Okay, got it. Okay, I see, Chris. So that's kind of your introduction. Got it. Yeah. That is your introduction. If it works for you, bro, it works for you. I am not a big fan of how you doing, because the reason why is because a lot of times you're going to get an answer you don't want to hear. Remember, my mindset is, how can I start the conversation without creating any unnecessary objections? So may I speak with, or in how you doing can create objections. Depends how your tonality and how you approach it as well. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm not here to say the other stuff doesn't work, but me mentally is, I want to go into a call where I know that I don't want to create any unnecessary objections. Once I have, and I love his comment here, once I have your attention and you're engaging with me, I'm gonna basically, because you guys heard it in the initial intro, I had a really firm tonality because I don't know who's on the other side of the line. It could be Ryan, right? Big buff guy, or it could be a grandma. I don't know. But initially, I'm going to be like, hello, Ryan. And then when I hear Ryan on the other line, hello, who's this? Now I'm going to take my tonality and I'm going to bring it to their level. So we got to make sure that we think about that. I mean, how often has that worked, Ryan?
Always, bro. Like I was going to say, almost always. When you said that earlier, hey, this is not 100% proof. I made tens of thousands of calls. I've told this to a lot of people. Only once did that intro get me somebody to say, hang up on me. Always you're like, I'm too busy, but go ahead. What is this about anyways? Just by the way that we introduce ourselves. So it does work. It does catch their attention. Even when they're busy, they still want to know, well, yeah, I'm busy. What's this about?
They still, exactly. It's that curiosity, right? Like
curiosity.
I've already pattern interrupt you, because remember this one thing. I always say this, and this is the truth. A cold call is an interruption call. I don't care what time of the day you call, 6 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock at night. A cold call is an interruption call. So you are basically, when you cold calling, you're interrupting, and and the introduction is what is going to make or break your phone call. So it's very important that the introduction has to be on point. Again, guys, I'm not here to say like ours is the only one that works, and you don't say this or don't say that. My approach is, I want to make sure that I grab the seller's attention and I don't create any unnecessary objections. And like Maximo says here, I want them to feel that familiarity from the get-go, like ASAP. And how do I get to do that? By calling someone by their first name, right? And Ryan just explained this. He's been at the store and he hears, maybe they're not even calling him, and he hears Ryan. I've done the same thing. And I know some of you can relate to that as well too. So very important. Your introduction will make or break your call. Guys, drop some fire emojis, some thumbs up if you feel like that's valuable. Understanding, you know, obviously we talked about a key strategy number one, which is priming yourself for your prospecting. Number two, introduction. You got to make sure you have the information in front of you. You have the seller's name. Stop asking if they're there. Stop asking if you can speak with. Just say hello, Ryan. Right? That's it. You don't have to get too aggressive. I mean, Ryan, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, no, I think again, you guys got to really get this down here. There's tonality to it. It's not just screaming Max, right? There's tonality. You got to slow down. You got to listen to everything Max is saying. It's not just run through this. You got to practice this, guys. Hey, say his name, pattern interrupt. I can't tell you how many times. I think other people can relate to this as well. This happens even recently. There are some cold callers, other companies, has nothing to do with real estate, that will call me like, hey Ryan, what's going on? How you doing? I'm like, hey, what's up? What's going on, man? I have no idea who they are, but they are acting very familiar with me. I just go along with it. And then a minute into it, I'm like, oh no, man, I'm not old enough for, what was it the other day they called me for?
AARP like or what?
One. Something like that. The medical stuff for the old Medicaid. They called me for Medicaid. And I said, hey man, I'm not gonna tell my real age. I'm only 25, and they hung up. So.
Stop. Manuel says you gotta say like, Joe, how you doing? How you doing?
Yeah, how you doing? How you doing?
Alan, appreciate the fire emojis. Travis, thank you. Jermaine, boom, let's go. Oh, one more thing on introduction. If you start the call sounding like you're not confident, people will pick up on that like ASAP. And the way I always put the example is this. When you walk up to a house and there's a dog there, what do dogs usually smell, Ryan?
Fear.
They smell fear. It's the same thing. If I get a phone call and I'm hearing a lot of hesitation on the other side, I'm getting nervous. Like, who the heck is this? So not only do you need to portray through the phone, because your body language over the phone is your tonality. So if your tonality is shaky and on the other side the prospect is hearing this, you're not going to establish confidence. I mean, if somebody called you and they're shaky on the other phone, what's your initial thought on that, Ryan?
Like just, there's something going on, right? Something just not right. And your guard comes up, right? Exactly. Guard gets up and you're ready to hang. You're just waiting for a moment to go click or no, never mind, bygone.
Yep. Chris said, pick up their tone, how they answer, and paying attention to them. Read between the lines of what and how they respond. 100%.
Yeah. And Max, real quick, just generally speaking, when you think of anybody, right, conversating about any type of transaction, how do they sound, right? Like the calmness, when you talk about the confidence, they're not like, hey, how you doing today? Might I speak to Mr. No, right? Like a guy on the phone.
95 on the line.
Yeah, it's nothing like that. It's like, hey, what's up, Max? Hey, Max, I was calling.
Somebody too young to remember Johnny 5. I know Chris Pod remembers Johnny 5.
Johnny 5 is alive. But no, you got to again take that. Think about how people do business, how they speak, what type of.
So what I call that, Ryan, I call that is the consciousness of the conversation. That is what a lot of people miss. They want to checkbox everything. They want to checkbox and move them down the line. Mm-hmm. You need to be conscious of the conversation you're having, so you can get an understanding of where the seller's moving, and then you react. Just like just like I don't know judo personally, but that's what judo is, right? You're using the force, anything that has to do with like
force of momentum.
Yeah, force of the momentum, and same thing. Got to be conscious of that. Not can be checkbox. Even with our script, we always teach our team you can be checkbox. Appreciate the fire emojis, Iliam. Paul said, Ryan, buff guy over cash. You the man, bro.
Thanks, Paul.
Guys, has it been good so far? There we go. Look at Chris said, short circuit. Johnny 5 is alive.
Yeah, he remembers. He knows. There's only a few of us who know that.
So we got number 2 done. Let me know if that's been valuable. Any questions so far on 1 and 2? I want you guys to drop this. We want to answer every single one of your questions. We're going to move over to number 3. So right now, number 1, we talked about priming yourself for your cold calling. Number 2 is make sure that your introduction is on point. That's going to make or break your call, how the rest of the call is going to go. Number 3 falls in line with that, which is your pitch. This is very important. This is not the time to fumble and mumble to the call. And here's why I say this. Because the introduction is the hardest part of the call, because again, that's going to determine how your call is going to go. But guess what's the second? When you get an opportunity to pitch, this is where you got to treat it with gold. This is where the prospect has opened up to you now. They're letting you talk to them. They're giving you an opportunity to tell them why you're calling. And Ryan, I know this took a while for you to learn as well, right? How important is that, man? Once the prospect gives you that green light.
No, that's everything, right? That's because you're spending a lot of time calling, sifting, as you mentioned earlier, right? Sift, and then when the person is ready to go, right there on cue, you got to be ready. What Max said, you got to be primed, right, and ready to go to take on that call. Because if you get caught slipping, that's not a good feeling. That's not a good feeling when you finally had someone ready to go and you just weren't ready for that.
Yeah, exactly. So our pitch is really simple. One of the things I always like to do is just say, Ryan, we want to run this. So we're going to start the intro and then we're going to do the pitch. All right. Ring, ring.
Sure. Hello.
Hello, Ryan.
Yeah, man. This is him. Who's this?
Oh, hey, Ryan, it's Max. I don't know if you can help me, man. I've been trying to reach the owner of 123 Main Street. Probably don't own that.
1, 2. No, dude, that's my property. What's this about, man?
That's your property? Well, I appreciate that. Well, like I said, my name is Max. I'm actually calling because we're looking to buy a couple more properties in that neighborhood. I don't know if you would consider selling that one.
Yeah, man, I definitely would. I mean, just, depending on your offer.
Got it. That's it. That's my pitch, guys. There's a couple of things I want to highlight there. Number one, I said my name again, right? How'd that make you feel even in the role play?
Oh, I felt good. Okay, like, all right, I'm talking to a person, real person.
So number one, I said my name again. Number two, I said, would you consider selling that one? I didn't say your property. I didn't say your house, because what I did there is I took away the emotional attachment out of it, and I just made it just like any other property that's available on the market to sell. A lot of times, we make the mistakes. What I seen on some scripts, and I seen some cold calls. Hey, I was calling because I want to see if you want to get a cash offer on your personal property that you lived in there for 15 to 20 years. How good does that feel if someone was to call you and tell you that, Ryan?
No, man, I'm posturing up.
Right? And let's say most people don't say
house.
Right. Let's say most people don't say those words, but what are they saying when they say, "Hey, I'm calling to make you I'm calling to make you I'm calling to see if you would consider a cash offer on your property." Right? And so what's happening is that you're invading that personal space, right? And you've already gotten a chance to talk to them because you passed the introduction. You got to make the most of it when it comes to your pitch. So there's two things there. Again, make sure you say your name. Hey, Ryan, like I said, my name is Max. I'm calling you because we're looking to buy a couple more properties in that neighborhood. I don't know if you would consider selling that one. I pulled you away from it. There's no way that you're going to say, well, why would I sell you my property? Now, again, there might be some prospects that will. But again, that's the whole idea. And here's the other thing too, Ryan. If I said, hey, Ryan, I want to see if you would consider a cash offer on your property, what are you going to say next to me?
How much you're offering?
How much you're offering? So guess what?
You just said cash offer to me.
Right? So what's going to happen is you're either going to have to retract from that,
stuck,
or you're going to be stuck and you're going to have to give them a number. And what did I say earlier? I'm trying to eliminate any unnecessary objections because I don't know what I can pay for it. Ryan, do you know what you can pay for a property on a cold call in 3 minutes?
Never. Nope.
Right?
Not that's going to show up in their bank account.
So why would I create that objection up front when I don't even know yet if I'm going to buy the property? I don't even know if this is a prospect or a suspect. And number three, I don't even know this person's motivated, right? Which is in line with prospects.
Those are subtle changes, but again, we got to stop there and really highlight that. That's huge, guys. Like the psychology of the call, we're already engaged right there.
Yeah. And
if you're already saying cash offer, then okay, cool. Yeah. What's your cash offer? How do you back out from that? How do you get around that without it?
Done. if you're good, like I know I can, right? I'm pretty sure you can. There's a couple, Chris probably can. We got a Jermaine can, but if you're new, like, you're new and you're cold calling and you're that's your pitch. Like, hey, I'm
Or
calling.
that's what you're teaching your cold callers, Max, right?
Yeah,
There
or
you
that's
go.
what you're teaching
Right.
your cold callers. Like, it's going to be very difficult on you. You got to make sure that you're, again, the reason for a script, I'm going to keep saying this throughout this presentation, is that you have to eliminate as many unnecessary objections as possible. And to me, I believe when you say, hey, I'm calling to make you an offer, when I'm calling to make you an offer, I'm calling to see if you would consider a cash offer on your property. What that means, it triggers them to just have the offer conversation. Okay, tell me what you pay. You're calling me to make me an offer, right? So that's the thing that you want to avoid. And again, the second thing is that I want to take away the emotional attachment by saying that property. I know a lot of people get stuck on this. Let me know what, guys, there's about 30 plus people on here right now.
Yeah, if you
know there's
disagree, let's hear it.
questions. I know there's just some disagreement. Again, I'm not here to say that ours is the perfect approach. What I want you to understand is that my goal on a cold call or even on a high level negotiations call, I am always approaching the calls with the objection of eliminating any unnecessary objections so I can get what I want to get from that phone call. And again, got to be careful if you have a script that's creating too many objections for you. I want to hear some feedback, because this is where people get stuck. Like, man, that pitch is different. Never heard of that. Chris said home or house is personal tie to it. Absolutely. So we stopped using home or house like 4 years ago. We always say property. Calling to buy your property. Calling because we had in the notes you were considering selling your property or selling that property. Excuse me. So yeah, I love that, Chris. I love that you that you do that. He says, what do you say when a seller says, go make offers on the MLS? There's a lot of properties on there, or there's a lot of houses to sell on the MLS. Why are you calling me? So again, that's why I don't say I'm here to make you an offer. That's the whole point. That's the idea, is because of that, right? That type of objection. So, and you're creating that objection right within the guys, the introduction in the pitch, and gals, the introduction in the pitch is happening, what, Ryan? In less than a minute?
Yeah, right.
Right. So why would I want an objection like this in less than a minute when I don't even
rapport.
have no rapport? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You're on there.
No, I was just going to say there's no rapport built, right? You're already going to get, you already said it, man. You're going to get stopped. You're going to get categorized. You're going to get hung up on. You're going to get disconnected. You're not going to get anywhere because you haven't built rapport to get them to bring their guard down just a little bit and say, do I really want to listen to this guy or gal? Right. And have them give you a chance to get to the rest of the script.
Yeah. And also remember, how do we stand out and not blend in? That's the thing. That's the purpose. If you're hearing a theme here, the theme is eliminate any unnecessary objections. And then how do I stand out and not blend in? Because I can tell you, everybody and their mom and their grandma and their tata and everybody else is calling and making a cash offer.
And close real quick right now.
Close quick.
Let's go.
10 days. You want to be out of your house in 7 days? Let's go. I can make that happen. Maximo, appreciate the fire emojis. Jermaine says, saying cash offer absolutely triggers them to say, what's your offer? What's your offer? Absolutely, brother. And you're a veteran, so you understand that. And I'm glad that you recognize that, because definitely it's a conversation that I don't want to have within the first, we'll say 3 minutes, right? Within the first minute to the 3 minute mark, I don't want to be talking about an offer. I want to know first if this is a person that I want to buy a property from. I want to use if this is a property that I want to, talk to. Like, I don't know. I'm looking to qualify people. And if we can't get an engagement, if we can't get a simple conversation, and I'll tell people too, like, look, I've only been, and I'll look at my watch, and Ryan has seen me do this. I've been talking to you for like the past probably 30 seconds. I don't even know if I'm going to buy this property. The last time I bought a property, it was probably about a 10 to 15 minute conversation, maybe even 30. So do you have some time for me to ask you a few questions, and then I can see if I can come up with an offer for you? Now, that doesn't happen because I don't, I'm saying that when prospects are being aggressive, but I don't approach the calls with, I'm here to make you an offer. Definitely don't want to do that. Thanks, Jermaine, for that. All right. Eliam says, are there other reasons why we use property or that one besides remove personal? That is the reason. Ryan, you want to jump on this one? I know you.
Alien. That you're probably thinking it's a bigger magic pill or something bigger. We're telling you that is removing their emotions out of it, but not saying their house or their home. There's a personal attachment to it. It's psychologically proven. Again, may not be like that for you, maybe with your home or your house right now. So maybe you don't think like that, but a lot of people that we're calling, they've been there for a while. They have that attachment. And so again, the little things count, and a stack of these little things can really be the difference between you getting a deal and not getting a deal. So we're not saying things just to say them. We're not saying things because we think we're cool. We want to hear ourselves. This is stuff that we've learned over thousands, tens of thousands, 20,000, 100,000 phone calls between
6 years plus
everyone that we work with. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Two things to add to that. Number one, Iliam, I don't know what your experience is. Sales is a slide edge game. Ryan has sales experience. There's a couple of people here that have a lot of experience in sales. I have a lot of experience in sales. I've sales trained professionally, and I can tell you that sales is a slide edge game. What does that mean? That means that what you're asking right now, can it give me the edge on my competition? Can it help me to overcome that? It's that teeter-totter, right? If I go this way too much, is that, you're walking that edge, Ryan? Do you have something to add to that one before I get into the second one?
Yeah, no, I think again, it really, it's not a magic pill, right? It's not hocus pocus. It's just straightforward psychologically works with how a seller is with their possessions. And that's, again, we're even trying to make it bigger than what it is. It's the small things that count. And that's the way that we go with it.
Exactly. And that was my second point, is that you have to remember, you're talking with individuals that have lived here 15, 20, 30 years in some cases, their whole life. They've only done this once or twice in their whole life, potentially. And we're basically trying, and we do this. Some of us do this 5 to 10 times a month. Some of you guys do this 3 to 5 times a month. Some of you guys do this twice a month. And that's the whole point of this, why we need to remove from the emotional attachment. So Kenneth says, hey, Max, just got off the phone with the guy who has 48 units and wants 1.9 million. He wants me to call the property manager to get more info. What key questions do you ask the property manager? Man, this is awesome. Ryan, can he connect with you? And basically, how can he reach out to you? Because it's going to be a little bit more detailed. There's actually some things that we need to ask when it comes to this type of big property like this. So it'll take up probably like 10, 15 minutes. And I don't want to, this show specifically for those that are cold calling, but connect with Ryan. Ryan, go ahead.
Kenneth, yeah, absolutely, brother. We're not blowing you off by any means. This is going to take a little bit more time to discuss and to make sure you're set up properly for it. But my IG at Real Ryan Overcash, send me a direct DM. I always respond within 24 hours. Again, that's at Real Ryan Overcash. You can see it on the screen there. Send me a DM. Let me know when a good time to connect with you, and then we'll give you a call. Set up a time to connect on Zoom. That way we can go over it and let you know exactly what you need to talk to that property manager about.
Love it. I'm like, 48 units. Let's go. Vicente, appreciate it. All right. So we covered 3 key strategies. We're down to two left. I'm telling you, number 5, you don't want to miss this, because you guys are all making this mistake right now. So we talked about priming yourself. We talked about having, the right introduction. And I didn't say perfect, the right introduction. We talked about your pitch. And the 3 things behind those is that to make sure that you're not creating any unnecessary objections, and making sure that you're increasing your your averages of creating a conversation. The 4th thing I want to talk about, Ryan, which is one of our favorites, which is objections. I mean, you don't ever get objections, I think, right, Ryan, every time you get on the phone?
Objections? What are those, Max?
I know.
I think I've been hit in the head too many times. I don't know.
I'm just being funny here, guys. If you're cold calling, if you cold calling and you're set and you're priming yourself, you got your script with a good introduction, you got a good pitch in your script that's not going to create any unnecessary objections, any unnecessary objections. The one mistake that I see a lot of people do when they're cold calling is approach the calls without actually having the objections that they're going to get, right? What do I mean by that? So a lot of us get on the phones and thinking that we're not going to run into any obstacles. We're not going to run into any objections. We're not going to run into anything that the prospect's going to throw at us that we need to overcome. So I see this mistake happen a lot. So what do we do in this case, right? When we're going to make some calls, what do we need to do? You got to have your objections in front of you. believe me, until you get to a point where you quote unquote see yourself memorizing them and being able to memorize them on the fly. Like, I can do that now, but I always tell our guys, like, have your objections in front of you. Not only your objections, but also your rebuttals. The rebuttals that you're going to overcome those objections. Because if you think that you're going to jump on cold calls and not get objections and you don't prepare for them, I'm going to tell you, you're in for a rude awakening. You want to tell them about that, Ryan?
Yes. I was just kidding. I remember objections now. So, again, kind of talking about that a little bit earlier in the call. You always got to be prepared. I believe 5 to maybe 8, let's just say, rebuttals you're going to get from every seller. There's not new ones that are coming out every year, every month. Hey, check out this new objection I got from the seller. Never heard this one before. They're all the same ones. Prepare for them. Role play them. Get ready. Again, prime yourself for the appointment.
Yeah, but remember this, they're the same ones continuously, but that doesn't mean they're said the same way, right? It doesn't mean they're going to be asked in the same spot of your previous calls. So when I say write those down, like, have those in front of you, be ready with them, right? Like, I can tell you right now, 4 objections that come up consistently when you're cold calling is, how did you get my information? You got to be able to answer that in a genuinely conversational way.
Roll.
Yeah, and roll. It can't just be like, let me think about this. Second thing that comes up continuously on a cold call, like, what company are you with, right? You got to be able to answer that, how you're going to overcome that. Number 3 is, make me an offer. You called me. How are you going to overcome that? And then the top 4 objections that come up is, where are you located? What company? Where can we find out about you? And there might be a lot more, but I believe those are the top 4 that we've seen through thousands and 10,000s of calls that come up consistently. And I have a top 10 objections and rebuttal sheet with the where I write down my top 10 objections when I'm prospecting and how I rebuttal them. So that's the other thing that you need to make sure. A key strategy is to have your objections with your rebuttals written down in front of you next to your target sheet, right? Is this objection going to keep you from hitting your 8 conversations for that day? Is this objection going to keep you from creating 4 hot leads because you're not prepared for it and you didn't write those down? You got to be prepared, man. Like, don't approach the calls like you're not going to get any objections. I'm telling you. Besides creating the unnecessary objections on your own, the prospect's going to throw objections at you. And if you don't have them in front of you, if you're not prepared for them when you're cold calling, like you're just assuming like the call is going to go sunshines and rainbows, right? Like, that's not real life. That's Instagram. And we're not here to talk about Instagram. You guys know how fake Instagram is. That's not how it works. I'll pull the best clips and I'll show you, and like that's all social media stuff. That's why I was playing out around with Ryan. Like, hey, Ryan, you don't ever get any objections, right, when you're on your calls. And what would happen when you have the objections and the rebuttals in front of you, Ryan, when you're talking to the prospect? How would you feel when the prospect gave you the objection?
For me, you're talking to me personally, I was excited for it because I was prepared for it. I was like, yeah, come at me with that one. I got you. And I had to even slow down to deliver my delivery because I was anticipating what they were coming at me with.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what it is, right? Like, it's called that, being in the game. Being in the game. What's up, Brian? How you doing, bro? Appreciate the fire emojis. Being in the game mentally. So you just study film, right? Your objections are your film. And now when you go out to the to the field, which is the prospecting, well, guess what? Whatever the prospect throws at you, you're going to make some adjustments. I'm going to use football here for analogy. The offense has their game plan, but the defense has also their game plan, right? So when the defense adjusts, guess what? The offense also calls audibles or adjust, but they have the game plan. All they got to do is tweak it just a little bit. Same thing. If you're going to prospect, if you're going to talk to sellers and you don't have your objections in front of you with your rebuttals, what I'm going to tell you is you're going to run into a wall and you're going to be like, and you're going to sound like Johnny 5 is alive. Ryan, how many times have we seen it already?
Always. Seen it too many times.
Guys, if you want fluff, go to social media. I'm giving you guys meat and potatoes. If you want fluff, go to IG. If you want fluff, go to TikTok. I don't do TikTok. And you guys know I'm here to help you. believe me, you're going to get better from this. And you guys, some of you guys are probably like, woo, like you're starting to look like Ryan over there.
Get out of here, dude. Get out of here.
You're gonna have to go back and watch this very slowly, right? And make sure that you catch on. What are you looking at, bro?
I'm looking at my fade, bro. Make sure it's even. Looks good.
Exactly. So again, make sure that you have your game plan. Write down write down the objections that you know you're gonna get consistently. Even if you're a pro, like guys, I did it for so many years. Like I'm at a point right now where, to me, I've converted objections into stalls. It's a mentality thing. So what I mean by that is that anytime that a prospect, quote unquote, throws an objection at me, the way I visualize it and the way I think about it, because I've done thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of calls, and I've been to hundreds, if not close to 1,000 in-person appointments. The way I look at it, it's like, okay, why is this prospect stalling? Why are they asking that? What is the stall? What do I need to ask? Yeah, what's the reason behind it? How do I get them over? How do I help them out? And the way I look at that is two ways. Number one, either they're lacking the information, or number two, they don't trust me yet. And so when someone gives me an objection that's a high-level objection, I always say this, like, hey, I got to think about it, right? The one thing I always say, I'm prepared for that already. Like, look, I understand, and that's fair. I've gotten that before where you have to think about it. You know, typically in the past, when I've heard someone say they got to think about it, to me, it means that, number one, you don't have all the information, or you don't trust me yet. Which one of those two is it, right? And I leave it there and I let them answer because I want to know. And usually it's going to be the information. If you build good enough rapport, you're going to build trust. But they don't have all the information to be able to make a decision. And that's how I now, to this point, it has taken me a long time. So if you guys think you're going to run around and make calls and not expect to get objections and not have them in front of you, you got to think that twice. I mean, you got to make sure that you do have that. Like, to me right now, it's like I said, I'm at a point right now where objections are more stalls, and I'm trying to figure out, why is this prospect stalling? Is it lack of information? They don't trust me yet? Did I not do a very good job at building rapport? Things like that, right? And I mean, like, you're kind of in that phase now too, I believe, right? I'm seeing your growth, and I believe you're there almost as well.
Oh, 100%.
Cool. So again, guys, number one, prime, right? Prime yourself. Number two, have a good introduction. You only get a few seconds. Number three, have a great pitch. And then number four, always assume that you're going to get objections. So you need to prepare to write them down. Guys, before I give you number five, so I want, this is the one that's one of my favorites, because you guys might have all those other ones set, but this is one that I see a lot of people make mistakes on. Before I give you number five, drop some fire emojis, drop some thumbs up if you've gotten value so far with these last four before I go into number five. Also, share this on social media, man. Like, share this. If you guys are getting value, tag Ryan and myself. Ryan's at Real Ryan Overcash. I'm at Real Max Jimenez. We want to help more people. We're going to do a lot more of these with this specific show. Guys, I've never shared this outside of some of my sales intensive that I have. But I want to give back to the community. I want to make sure. So drop some fire emojis, some thumbs up. I want to see some excitement in the comment section. I want to make sure that you guys are getting a lot of value from this, and share this with someone. Ryan, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to say also, even if you guys are confused or some of this doesn't make sense, or again, we already asked, hey, you guys don't have to agree with it. We want to hear that too. Let's talk about it. Let's work it out. Again, the show is called Club Collab, right? So we always collaborate. We're always looking to learn as well from other people. But yeah, let's hear some feedback. Let's hear if this has worked, or where you're stuck at, or what doesn't make sense. We're going through quite a bit of information in an hour. So don't expect all this just to make sense right off the bat.
100% we have, and I know there's about 30 or more of you on, and I know doing this show for as long as we've been doing it, I know there's always questions, there's doubts. Listen, guys, there is no stupid question. I want you to leave the show tonight with your questions answered, right? I want to make sure that
we want to help you get deals. Let's go.
Yeah, I want to help you get deals. Want to make sure that you understand what we're doing. Is there any confusion? Travis, I appreciate the fire emojis. Thank you, brother. Ilium, thank you. Jermaine, always supporting. Guys, keep dropping those fire emojis. I'm gonna tell you number 5 right now. What the number 5 key strategy that's going to help you with cold calling. But I want to see some more fire emojis dropped in there. Also, like I said, don't hesitate to share this on Instagram. We want to help more people. I do want to make one announcement though before we get into number 5, is that if you're not part of the Discord community, listen, I'm telling you, the Discord community is on fire. I'm going to drop the link. Yeah, there's deals in there. There's a lot of stuff happening in there. I want to invite every single one of you to be part of the Discord community. So I just dropped the link to invite every single one of you that's on the show to the Discord community. It's free. We want to make sure that we get everybody on. I know some of you guys are on Facebook. I don't know if you'll see the actual link, but I'll put it inside Facebook as well too. So guys, come on, drop some fire emojis. Let me know if this has been helpful. We got 3 people so far. We got over 30 people right now online. Drop some fire emojis, some thumbs up, some gems. Let us know one takeaway that you've gotten so far that you're going to apply starting tomorrow. What is that one takeaway that you're going to apply starting tomorrow from the 4 things? Before I give you the 5th thing, what is the one thing that you're going to apply starting tomorrow that you learn from those 4 things? Ryan, do you have any announcements?
Announcements? I was going to say something funny, but I'll hold that. Announcements, I was going to say one of those things better be stop eating McDonald's food, because one of you guys said you're eating McDonald's. So whatever that is.
It means it too.
Yeah, I do mean that for sure. Trying to help y'all live too.
Brian, appreciate it. Thank you, brother.
How you going to make all that money and not live to enjoy it? Let's go,
appreciate it,
people.
Michael says he's going to start having the rebuttals. Let's go. Boom. Let's go. Alan, appreciate the fire emojis. Anyone else? What is one takeaway from the current 4 that you're going to go out there and apply starting tomorrow from the things that we talked about right now? Come on, I know there's
when
more.
You say it, it becomes real, guys.
Exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, you guys aren't doing all of this. What one thing are you not doing? Say it out loud, make it real. Write it down, make it real.
Exactly. Put it out there. So that way it comes back. If you don't put it out there. But I love that. That's always been my main thing is the rebuttals, having those in front of you. Maximo, I appreciate you. Jesse, thank you, brother, for that. All right, so let's get into number 5, where you guys, again, we're gonna do some Q&A, but I want to make sure that we answer all your questions. I want to make sure that you leave with all the takeaways, and that way you have no doubts on what we're talking about today. Paul, thank you, brother. Appreciate the thumbs up and the emojis. So number 5, I call this the 5th key strategy that I want to talk to you guys about is called transitioning agreement. This is a very yeah. So how many syllables does it have? Transitioning agreement. And again, this is a little more experience, and I wanted to throw it in there because I believe that a lot of you are not doing this. So what do I mean by that? There is a couple elements of prospecting and sales calls, right? The first element is what I call cold calling, which is what we've been talking about tonight, right, Ryan?
Yep.
The second one is called the follow-up, right? This is when you generate that lead from cold calling, you put them on a follow-up. The third one is called negotiations. This is where you've gotten all the information. Now you're negotiating. Now you're building rapport. You're negotiating. And then the fourth one is called a separate exit strategy from a cash offer. Okay. So what I say, cold calling, follow-up, negotiations, and then separate exit strategies. So here's what's happening. Each one of those 4 things that I just named right now are total separate conversations. Can they all happen on one phone call? Probably. Have I done it? Yeah, I've done it. Ryan's done it. But you have to remember, what did I say earlier, Ryan? I said that a cold call is a what? What did I say earlier? What did I say the cold call was?
It's tip of my tongue, Max. Cold call is a disruption,
bro.
I said disruption.
Interruption.
A disruption.
A cold call is an interruption call. So what that mean is that the cold call, you have a different goal than you do in a follow-up call, right? You have you also have a different call on a negotiation call. Sorry, a different approach to a negotiation call and then you have a different approach when it comes to a different exit strategy. And what happens, a lot of you blend that in together, and you do it without you transition without an agreement. That's why it's called transition agreements. So what happens if you're doing a cold call and you're going to transition into you're going to skip the follow-up because you're building great rapport, and you're going to go into a negotiation call, you have to set an agreement up front. You need to set an advance agreement with the prospect. Here's what I mean by that. So let's say I'm talking to Ryan, and I'm building rapport. I'm gathering that Ryan could be a prospect that I want to work with. And then we find out why he wants to sell. We uncover some motive. He wants to sell in the next 30 days. Now he's asking me, what do you guys think that you can pay for? Right. And so here's the other thing. Here's where we transition. This is where I call the transition agreement. I'm going to say, hey, Ryan, you and I have been talking for the last 10 to 12 minutes, right? Initially, this was just my first approach call. Typically, the questions that you're asking me now, that's usually set up for another call. But I'm more than willing, if you are open to having that conversation with me. If you have another 10 to 15, you have another 5 to 10 minutes, I love to get into that conversation with you. I am doing a transition agreement to let Ryan know that I want to make sure that he understands that those questions that he's asking me, I need more time to answer those questions. I'm not going to answer them, and then he's going to be like, oh, you know what, man, I got to get off the phone. So we got to make sure that you set the transition agreement from a cold call if you're getting into a negotiations call. How powerful is that, Ryan, when you do that?
Huge. And I'm sure you're going to give an example, but I'll stick one in there real quick, because I've seen this happen when they say, hold on, wait, you're asking quite a bit of questions, right? Max would always go, oh, sorry, I'm confused. Earlier, when I asked you if this was okay, you said it was okay. Oh yeah. And I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead. Keep going. Can't state how many times I've heard that.
Yeah, no, exactly. Again, very, very powerful, because if the prospect agrees and says, look, Max, I get it. Absolutely, man. It's a way to get to let me back up here, because I'm getting really excited. It's a way to allow the prospect to feel comfortable to tell you no. Because if you can get the prospect to allow them to feel comfortable to tell you no, guess what? The guard comes down.
They'll stay on the phone with you.
Yeah, this guy Max is not trying to sell me. This guy Max is not trying to rush the call. This guy Max is actually telling me, like, hey, dude, like, we're going to be another 5 minutes. So guess what? The guard goes down, and boom, the next thing is going to be, going to negotiations. So got to make sure that we set those advance agreements, transition agreements from cold call to negotiation. Here's the biggest mistake that I see a lot of people make is when you transition from we always, Ryan, what's our first go-to? Is cash offer, right? Always. Yeah, right. First approach. We don't, and we push pretty hard, I believe, right? With cash, trying to get the cash offer, right?
We make sure that's not an option before we move on anywhere else.
We make sure not an option. I'm not talking about having a wishy-washy conversation and throwing, creative finance in there just to convince somebody to sell us their house. We push the limit. Like we go as far as we can. We got to make sure that it's absolutely not a cash offer option, right? We're pushing the limit. We're negotiating. We're going back and forth. We're doing homework. We're talking to our what is it called? Our underwriting team. Well, when we find out that we're too far apart, we don't just go back and start the conversation on creative right away, right? What do we do, Ryan?
Transition a little bit, right?
Yeah, we do a transition agreement, right? We do a transition agreement. So what do? We don't just even if it's on the same call, we don't just transition into creative right away. We say, look, hey, Ryan, you know what? It looks like we're going to be too far away on a one lump sum offer for you. So one of the things that I've done in the past when this happens, I typically like to talk to you about different ways that we can actually, buy your property if you're open to have that conversation today, right? And of course, what 99% of the time they say they're curious, right? They're like, "What do you
Yeah, they're
mean?
curious
Other
because it's
options?"
vague, right? Like, what
Yeah,
do you
yeah,
mean?
it was
Tell me
very
about the
vague.
other option.
It's very vague. So they're like, "What do you mean? It's the other option." Okay, perfect. I'm glad you have about 5 minutes, and I can tell you 5 to 10 minutes, and I can tell you what that conversation looks like. Yeah, absolutely. And then I go into the pitch. I'm like, okay, so because we're too far apart, obviously on a one lump sum, something we've done in the past with other sellers that sold to us. Typically, what we like to do is ask you if we were to pay you what you wanted, right? Let's say you wanted 200,000. If we were to pay you the 200,000 that you're asking for, how much time would you give us to pay that off? But guess what? We got permission from the seller to have that conversation. They agreed to it. It's called a transition agreement.
Yep.
Got to make sure that you're doing those. Go ahead, Ryan.
I was about to say, because it's hard to recover. I wanted to say this earlier before we get too deep in this. It's hard to recover if you don't get permission, and they can just end the call whenever they want, because they're playing by their rules, right? So that's why you got to get permission to continue the call, to transition smoothly, and to continue the conversation, or else they can just abruptly end it if you say something they don't like.
Right. Absolutely. So remember, and I'm going to get some of these questions. I love the questions and the comments that are coming in. Keep them going, guys. Like, we're here. Keep them going. I want to help you. Transition agreements are very powerful because it gives you, again, it gives the prospect the illusion of that you're giving them the chance to say no, which they can, right? Like, hey, which is fine with me. I'd rather them tell me no on the spot than get into the conversation. And in the middle of my pitch, it's like, hey, Max, you know what? I don't have time. That's the worst, Ryan. Like, that's the worst feeling, huh?
I already felt it right there, man. I thought I was really in that call. I was like, no, dang it.
Right. So you're like, you're in your rhythm. And then they're like, hey man, can I call you? Can you call me tomorrow? And it's like,
you're just like,
exactly.
Give me 5 more seconds. I'm going to slam this offer down your throat, please.
So transitions agreements are very powerful, from cold calling to negotiation, from negotiation to cash offer to, again, transitioning to something creative. So let's see, guys, let me know if you got value out of that. I think a lot of people love that. Maximo says his takeaway was interruption. I love it. Iliam says most of my deals have came from MLS and other wholesalers because I'm looking for flips. In the past, I struggled with displaying and expressing that I'm here to solve a problem with homeowners. Now that I will be cold calling again, I know my experience has grown since. What is some feedback you can give? So I have this rule, which is which is called the 3 cycle rule. So number 1 is you are a problem solver first. Number 2, you're a salesman second. And number 3, you're a buyer. And then third, you're a buyer of real estate, third. So number 1, if you're looking to buy off market deals direct from sellers, the market is like this much, and you can't even see the gap between my fingers, right? You're dealing with a 3% probably market share. So if you're not going to approach the calls as a problem solver or looking for problems to solve, you're going to struggle a little bit. So I say change that mind, do a mind shift, problem solver first, closer, salesperson second, and then lastly, buyer of real estate third, right? Because that happens to be the piece that you're going to get from solving the problem. With solving the problem with your negotiation skills, what is the price? Real estate. You want to add anything to that, Ryan?
Yeah, I was trying to articulate what was in my mind right there, because I saw the vision of that, right, of that whole experience that you're just going through. And again, I just want to remind our listeners to think about transactions where you have been the buyer, right? You're the prospect of some sort. Not has to be real estate, but anything. Think of the interactions you've had. I've had them where I go, dude, I would buy anything from that guy or that girl. I just love the interaction. I loved her enthusiasm. Especially when people are experts at their craft and they care about it. They show that they care about it. Those are people that I've always wanted to work with and I'll engage with and have good conversation with. Yeah. All of us have had these conversations in our life somewhere. Think about how that person, interacted with you, and you want to interact the same way.
Yep.
In the real estate zone, obviously.
100%. And Iliam, I'm not here to say that there's not going to be prospects that just want you to, you know what I mean? Like, they're ready to go. Like, you don't need to put them like through this whole process, but that's very minimal. Like, how many prospects like that are we talking on a daily basis?
I had one, I just stuck out to my head. That one,
that's it, right? Like one in probably like the last year.
So I want to sell.
Yeah. There's going to be prospects that do just, if you give them what they're asking, they're going to sell to you like right away. Like, it's below your MAO and all that, your max law offer or whatever. Yeah. We're not saying that there's not, but it's It's the ones in the middle, the ones that you got to negotiate with. So Brian, appreciate the gems. He said using that right away, the transition agreement seems to be I'm telling you guys, that's why I said stay till number 5, because I know that you're going to find it valuable. Maximo also says upfront agreement. I appreciate that. Chris says, what's next after your prospects tells you they're interested in selling? Do you transition to 4 pillars right away or set up a follow-up call? This is where you would use a transition agreement, right? So if it's a cold call and you're transitioning to what we call a negotiations call, because they are considering selling, or let's say you're in the cold call. So Ryan, let's say let's role play real quick. Just I won't start from the beginning, but I want you to tell me. I did the pitch, right? I said I want to see if you're considering selling that one. Go ahead.
Yeah. Max, we have been thinking about selling that for a while, but yeah. So how does that work with you, man? Tell me a little bit more.
Got it. Okay. So you said you've been considering selling for a while. What has you considering selling it, if you don't mind me asking?
Honestly, just downsizing. We bought this house a few years back, trying to be cool and like everybody else, get a really big house. And then my wife hates cleaning it, and I ain't gonna clean it. It's too much of a house for us, man. We got to get out of this thing.
But I'm assuming you already thought about hiring maybe like a maid to do the cleaning service.
Yeah, good one. I don't think my wife will go for that one. She just wants to get rid of this house. Too much house for us.
All right, so I'll stop right there, because the whole idea is to show them. So if someone says to me like they're interested in selling, that's how I would do it. Like, okay, I know he said a little bit more, but yeah, sure. If I say, hey, would you consider selling that one? And Ryan was to say, yeah, I would sell it. What do you got? Okay, perfect. Look, I don't know what I can offer you yet. First, I was calling to see if you're interested in selling, which it sounds like. What has you considering selling? Good transition right there, right? Ryan gave me extra. I can go off that. But if somebody says, hey, sure, I'm considering selling, what do you got? Like, look, I don't know right away, I'm tackling that. I'm going to tackle that objection. I'm going to take it away from you. Look, okay, awesome. I appreciate that you're interested in selling. I don't know what I can offer you yet. Like I said, this is my first call. I'm first looking to see if you're interested. You are. I wanted to ask you, just out of curiosity, what has you considering selling it? Because sellers are going to say that, but do they really mean it? Are they really a prospect, right? So just remember that. Chris says, acknowledge, repeat, and transition. Boom, boom, boom.
That's 1, 2, 3, dude. It's over.
Acknowledge. I love it. Repeat and transition. That's how you build rapport. That's how you work on your tonality. Go ahead, Ryan.
And that's how the seller or whoever your in person is feels confident that you're going to be able to take care of them.
Dang, Chris, you just gave me a good. I'm gonna call it the three punch combo. Now repeat, transition. Nice, bro. I love that. Transition agreement to bring up creative. I dig it. I know you would, bro. I know you would. Iliam says thank you, and he appreciates the feedback. So, all right. So far, guys, any questions, anything we can help you with? Anyone on here right now that needs help, that has questions? I know we covered a lot. You're gonna have to go back to the what do you call it? Watch this video again. 5 things, right? Let's go back really quick. We're gonna paraphrase these. So, number 1, prime yourself. Put it on your calendar. What's the outcomes that you want? Number 2, introduction. Work on an introduction that. That again, don't mess it up by saying is so and so there. I'm just looking for blah 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 and all this. Pitch.
Hi, how you doing today?
Pitch. Make sure your pitch is straightforward. Remove the emotional attachment, and don't say, "Would you consider a cash offer?" Because that's going to be your conversation all the way. Don't assume that you're number 4. Don't assume objections. Don't assume that you're not going to get any objections on your prospecting. You got to make sure that you understand that. And then number 5, which is one of my favorite, transition agreements. If you're transitioning from a cold call to negotiations, you got to make sure that you are understanding that that your prospect is on board with you. And so I want to make sure that if there's any questions, because I want to make sure I want to help you, but I appreciate everyone, single one of you, for being on. Again, I love doing these things. You know, you guys know that, you know, when we get on here, we love to provide value. Ryan as well loves to help, you know, and I think tonight, man, was freaking awesome for you guys. You know, we're going to do a lot more of these. However, though, I do want to say this, because I know there's a lot of you out there that want to learn a lot more. I just put the link and I heard a lot of you guys jumping in. Well, I can hear it in my earbuds for some reason, because I got the computer sound down. Jumped a lot into the Discord. So jump in there, jump in the Discord. And I want to make sure that you guys get in the community. We're going to start doing a lot of things in there. Free community. I don't charge anything. I do want to say this, though, is that for those of you that are ready to take on to the next level and you want to learn more about these strategies, I have my sales intensive coming up March. I'm looking to shoot somewhere between either March 8th or the week after March 8th. I don't know yet, but I do have that going on. If you are wanting to basically, and you guys don't do I don't get on here to do a pitch fest, but I just want to make it available for you. I put the link in there, and I actually have, for the next 5 people that sign up, there's a huge bonuses. Basically the bonuses, I'm going to show you guys real quick what the bonuses cover. So that way you guys can see exactly how you're going to work with me when it comes to the master class, or sorry, to the sales intensive. Because I think it's important not only to learn like tactics, but how to put them together, right, Ryan? Would you say? Because a lot of times what happens is you learn. Go ahead.
Oh, you're right on it, dude. Exactly. Putting it together. These aren't tactics. These aren't one-liners. You always say these aren't just, oh, I'm going to fill this in right here. It's how you run your entire appointment, how you facilitate your appointment, your call, whatever it is. You can't just listen to this and go try to make calls tomorrow. You're going to stumble over yourselves. You got to study this. You got to work on it. You got to reach out to Max and I. We will help you. I don't understand why more people aren't reaching out. We will help you. Reach out, ask questions. We'll help you. And another thing, just real quick, because I'm on this, I have 2 daughters. Where are all the ladies at? There are no females on this call. There's got to be females in this industry. So for all of you who are on here, you need to chime in and chime up more often. And all you guys, share this with somebody and some females here who are in the industry that need help.
Absolutely. No, for sure. I'm going to let me pull up the for those of you guys that want to see this, I want to show you guys really quick, because I have something cool that I'm going to be doing on this one. I thought I had it up for some reason, but I guess not. Let me look really quick. Oh, here it is right here. Okay. So I'm going to show you guys exactly what I'm going to be doing. So that way, if you do want to come on for the next 5 people that sign up, again, I don't want to make this a pitch fest, because I just want to make it available, because I want to make sure that you structure this the correct way. I want to work with you one-on-one. And so I'm going to let's see, I think this is the link. Yeah, this is the right link right here. So let me show you guys really quick what I have available for the next 5 people that sign up. I'm not going to make this available because I can't work with everyone one-on-one. But as you can see this, right? These are the bonuses for the next people that sign up, which is obviously we have Discord, but you'll be part of private Discord. You're going to have one-on-one Zoom calls with me. And you're going to get, after the intensive is over, you're going to get 4 post-intensive support calls.
Or so if you want to visit with me, you can visit with me too.
Yeah, with Ryan too as well. No, for sure. No, for sure. And also you're going to get lifetime access to all the recordings. You're going to get all my scripts and video breakdowns. You don't just get the scripts. You actually get the video breakdowns of how to use the scripts, how to actually navigate the scripts. So I work on those. Plus, if that wasn't enough, I'm giving you immediate access to my principles curriculum. Inside there, it's got quite a bit of things on there. So I'm only doing this for the next 5 people that sign up. The bonuses are only for you guys that are on here on YouTube or watching on Facebook. Again, you're going to get, it's a 3-week intensive. So during those 3 weeks, you're going to be able to book calls on your own through Calendly, one-on-one with me, 15 minutes, 15-minute calls, unlimited. I don't have a cap, which I don't know if I should do that. I'm so busy, but I want to do that for you. Number 2,
I'll let you know if we got to cut it off. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
That.
Number 2, you're after the 3 weeks that you spend with me, I'm going to give you 4 post-intensive support calls, which means we're going to jump on 4 Zoom calls. They're going to be bi-weekly that I'm going to support to make sure that you set up and then the third thing is you're going to get lifetime access to the recordings and then all my scripts and video breakdowns that you're going to get. Plus you're going to get immediate access to the principles curriculum. And so
there's no way, Max, there's no way that they can do all that and not add one extra cell a month minimum.
Oh, bro.
What
There
will
was a
one
guy-
cell a month do? What will one cell a month do for you people?
There was
That's
a
just
guy-
one.
There was a guy in my last intensive, bro, that went from, I think right after he left, the next month he had 100,000 for that month.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Right.
I
Yeah, you remember that?
Jealous of him.
So again,
I want that
I'm only
training now. Damn.
I already know who signed up already, so I'm only doing this. Who's the last person signed up? I'm only doing this for the next 5 people. I want to make it available. I want you to get the bonuses, and I want to make sure that you
Separation
take
season, baby.
separation season. Take advantage of this, man. Honestly, I'm not gonna make this available again just because it takes a lot of my time. I only do this like I've done this twice. I think I did this for the first class or the second intensive, and this is the second time that I'm doing this. I just can't. I have too much time, but I see a lot of people that need help. And again, guys, time is of the essence. And again, I'm doing this for the next 5 people that sign up. We're basically going to cover on a more high level the things that we talked about today. And like Ryan, like you said, right? One more deal that pays for this is, one deal that you get is going to pay for the class itself, right? Because it's not really pricey. It's not really expensive, honestly, the class. I can tell you it's very competitive. So I want to make sure that you understand, like, these are the bonuses that you're getting when you sign up for the first 5 people that sign up, because I want to spend some good time with you and stuff. So you got anything to add to that, Ryan?
No, I think people really need a gut check time here, guys. I remember when I very first heard this, took me maybe, I don't know, less than 30 seconds to make the decision. And at the end of the day, it was all about, what do I need to do to invest in myself to get better? And if this is going to bring me just one, like a minimum of 1 deal a month, so be it, dude. So let's get going on it. And It was much more than that. And look where it led me now. So anyways, you guys got to jump on this, man. Opportunity comes, you jump on it, get on it. We're here to help. Ask other people that have taken this class. You're not going to get any negative information on this one. Everyone's asking for more.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Again, I know the scripts are going to be there, and then I have videos that break down those scripts. Private Discord, and then also one thing I didn't put on here is you're going to be part of the Closers Lab alumni. So we have an alumni group where all the classes are in there. They're always engaging and talking to each other in there. But definitely take advantage of that for the next 5 people I said sign up. I can't take all you guys. I can't do one-on-one with every single one of you. There's absolutely no way. So I limited this to 5 people, especially with the support calls and the time intensive. So again, I want to throw that out there. The link's in the comment section. Go ahead and sign up. Again, share this with someone. Let's see who else. Chris, appreciate you, man, for the fire emojis. Let's see. Alan says, thank you. George says, much love, brother. Appreciate you. George Aplicano, what's up,
George?
Bro?
Hey, what's going on,
brother? Long time no see. I want to see you guys, those that want to take their game to the next level. I love to see you in that intensive. I don't know yet if it's going to be March 8th or the week after. I'm kind of contemplating right now on the time because we're so short in time. I don't do these intensives very often because we do run a business, right? And especially with all these bonuses with the one-on-ones and then the calls. So if you love what you saw tonight, we're going to expand a lot more on that. Specifically, we're going to go into a more level, how to build rapport. Ryan, Jesse says, I took the intensive and it was fire. Appreciate you, Jesse. And I know there was a couple more people on here that have taken the intensive in the past, but again, hopefully, guys, if you got value tonight, just let us know. Share this with someone, share this live with someone, and also tag us on Instagram. Tag us. I'm on Instagram, so is Ryan. So if you're on Instagram, tag us on Instagram that you were on the live. That gives us, that allows us to help more people. And man, I hope you guys got value tonight. We didn't hold anything back. I'm telling you what I talked about tonight is some of the things that I covered in the past in our intensive, right, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. No holds barred here, given all the real raw information that actually works right now in today's market.
Meat and potatoes, baby.
Yes, sir.
Yep. So awesome, George says sign up. Max knows the stuff. I learned a lot from him. Thank you, George. I appreciate you, bro. You're awesome, brother. I appreciate you for those kind words. But yeah, guys, again, we'll definitely sign up in the next 5 people. And then also tune in next week. We might have a guest next week, so we're looking forward to doing that. And don't forget, the show now starts at 5 p.m. Arizona time, 7 p.m. Eastern. So want to make sure that you guys are on. Any last words you want to say, Ryan, before we sign off?
No, man, I'm just really grateful for everyone that joined the show tonight. Feels good to give value, and this is stuff that could really impact not just you right now, but if you continue to use this, grow it, work on it, it's going to change your life and your family's life. I promise you that. So again, just very grateful to be in a position to be able to help other people. And if you guys know anyone, again, ladies and gentlemen, anyone that we can help or yourselves need help from us, you know how to reach out to us.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think let's collaborate and let's work together. So, all right, everyone, well, we appreciate you. Thank you. Go back and watch this. Share this with someone. Tag us on IG, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.
And be back next week. Let's go.